You were like rocking it at this Grudge. You were like killing it. Yeah. Like I could see you were feeling it.
Yeah,
sounded like you were feeling it.
I was so feeling it.
Yeah.
I was just blown away at what a blessed career we all have.
Somebody held up a sign. It was so beautiful. I wanted to remember exactly how it was worded, but it said, "Alanis, I am so glad that you are here with me today." It was so sweet.
Definitely has you. True. It unites.
It does unite. It's a very generous kind of cool connection. It kills me.
Okay. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Great to know. Yeah, I know.
One of the biggest changes over the last year is that there's just so much more balance in my life. And as I get older, things become less and less precious and more sacred. So during the writing of this record, I'm a lot more comfortable, not only in my own skin, but as a producer and as a creator.
I'll teach you all this in easy steps. Course of a lifetime you'll never forget. I'll show you how to in 8 easy steps. I'll show you how leadership looks when taught by the best.
8 Easy Steps is a song about my really just busting my own chops. All these stories that I'd been living, you know, stories of eventually everyone's gonna leave me, I'm easily abandoned, it's hard to love me, I'm too much. Staying in that way of thinking just kept creating it. So writing this song was very liberating for me. I wrote this record relatively quickly and would write each song in a day. There were a couple of times where I wrote 2 songs in one day. I usually have a little kind of space station where I'll have a keyboard and I'll have a bass and a guitar and I'll just start writing. A lot of times I won't write for a while and I'll just journal. And a lot of what it is that I want to ultimately write songs about will become apparent as I flip through my diary pages. And I just kind of take the essence of what it is that I'm writing about and turn it into a 3 or 4 minute song.
Yeah, what's this one called anyway?
This one's called Doth I Protest Too Much?
I worked with Mr. Tim Thorney, who's one of my dearest friends. I also worked with John Shanks, who co-produced with me and with Tim. And I worked with Scott Gordon, who engineered, and Chris Lord-Alge mixed the record. I feel as though for the first few years of producing, I was trying to prove to myself that I could do it and actually just enjoy it. I love being a facilitator, which I think is a huge aspect of producing, and putting a lot of the energy into deciding who to work with. That's where my energy is best spent as a producer, deciding who to surround myself with and who to work with.
What she does is she has a tendency of throwing people in a room and watching the kinetic energy work itself up.
And once all those people are in a room, the rest is really just kind of getting out of the way and letting it be recorded on tape or whatever else.
There is a lot of detail and there's a lot of subtleties and there's a lot of emotion in the lyrics, and you really have to dig in with her, you know, because where she's coming from, you got to do a little homework. I mean, there are a few times there's, you know, a couple of words that, you know, I had to look up.
This Grudge? Oh my god, he's acting him out. It's brilliant. 8 Easy Steps. Out is through. Okay. Not all me.
It was really a joyous experience. I really learned to appreciate her so much more than I already had.
Well, the good thing about Alanis, she just looks at the overall picture, makes sure the story's being told, and that there's some excitement surrounding it.
I am playing with David Levita and Jason Orm on guitar, Blair Cinta on drums, Zach Ray on keyboards, and Eric Avery on bass. And I toured with these bandmates that I've been with for about a year. So I hadn't ever really had the opportunity to have them in the studio. So it was a very exciting experience.
Wow, so quick. Tim and I were talking about it last night, and basically we're talking up to like the end of next week. It's 8 weeks in the studio. That's pretty quick. Wow.
Ooh, what's the name of the album gonna be?
I think So-Called Chaos is what it wants to be called.
It basically signifies my belief that when we're left to our own devices and we're we're operating at a very high consciousness, that freedom would not equal chaos, that freedom would equal self-governing and self-referring to get our own answers, and that we'd be able to take care of ourselves and each other without any sort of arbitrators or police people or rules or laws or government.
I wanna be naked, running through the streets. I wanna invite this so-called chaos that you think I dare not be. I wanna be weightless, flying through the air. I wanna drop all these limitations, put the shoes upon my feet.
I am a inner work junkie. I love self-inquiry. All these songs are autobiographical. Every song that I've ever written is really just a snapshot of that period of time in my life. Out is Through is it's a song that I wrote with an element of resignation. In this song, I'm basically writing about the fact that, you know, there is light at the end of the tunnel if I would only go through the tunnel.
Every time we're stuck in struggle, I'm down for the count that day. Every time I dream of quick fix, I'm assuaged. Now I know it's hard when it's through, and I'm damned if I don't know quick fix way. What formerly was treatment, silence, now outdated. My tendency to want to run feels unnatural now. The urgency to want to give to